Hey everyone, we'll give everybody just a minute or two to jump in. But my name is Justin Long. I'm the marketing director here at PowerChurch Software. Today's goal is basically just to help you connect more with your congregation and the people that need a little bit more care during the season. Fun, scary fact, Christmas is only 63 days away at this point. And if your church celebrates Advent, we won't talk about that because that's closer to a month away at this point. But the holidays are full of joy for a lot of people. But if you served in ministry for any amount of time, you know it's also some of the most painful times for some people, to where it's the first time to where someone's spent the holidays without a spouse or a family member, things like that. And hopefully it's our goal to create software that hopefully helps you connect with those people and not just collect data, but be able to love people well. But I'm going to introduce you now to someone much more important than me in this conversation, and that is Mr. Jeff Campbell. He's our general manager and product owner of Empower software here. But Jeff's going to walk us through a few ways that PowerChurch and Empower can help with that throughout the season. So I'll turn things over to Jeff now.
Hey, thanks, Justin. I'm going to show you some stuff in PowerChurch and show you some corresponding things of how it works in Empower. For those of you who are not familiar with Empower, it is our newer web-based system that some churches are moving over to, that has a lot of the same features as PowerChurch, but it is all done in your web browser. So first, I'm going to kind of switch over to PowerChurch and there, okay. Hopefully everybody can now see that there. Okay. What we're going to look at today is sometimes when things happen in people's lives, one of the first areas that you'll see in a change is with their involvement, whether that's attendance or contribution. So these can sometimes give us some early warnings that, hey, something's going on in their lives that they might need pastoral care for. So one of the reports that's inside of PowerChurch is we call it the consecutive absence reports here under attendance, and I'm going to select this consecutive absentee reports. So you have to be recording attendance to do this. You know, often this is for Connect group style kind of levels. So if somebody stops attending their Connect group, that could be an indication that there's a life event or something that's going on there that we might want to follow up with them. So I'm going to just select this. We can select a date range, what activities that we want to run. For this example here, I've got information in my adult Sunday school class. So I'm just going to select that class. And I'm going to group this by activity type as well. And when I run this report here, it's going to show me people who've missed the last 3 consecutive times. The last 3 consecutive times this class now. And so this report shows me how many times consecutively they've been absent and when they last attended. There again, this might be that they are a snowbird and have gone to Florida for the winter time, or there could be a ministry event that's going on there that needs some care and so on that's there. So oftentimes these kind of changes are one of our signs that something's going on. A similar kind of report that's available in PowerChurch is the non-active profiles report. This widens a little bit, doesn't just look at attendance information. It also looks at contribution information as well. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to say I only want to show members on this report. So I'm just going to select our member tab here, or a member option as well. And it's going to show us who, and if I say OK here, it's going to show us who has not attended or given during this period of time. So I'm actually going to I'm just going to leave this as is and say OK. So this report here, I'll take it a second to bring up on the screen, shows us that Johnson Margaret has not attended or contributed during our date range. Now something could be going on, or she or There might be valid reasons. Maybe she's not in a connect group and just comes to service and hasn't contributed during our date range look. So there is valid. If that might flag a follow-up with somebody to go, hey, does anybody know what's happening with Margaret or anybody else in our list? So these are kind of 2 reports to help you find changes that might be going on in people's lives. Now, in PowerChurch, we can also record events that are happening to people. This could be care, like somebody's going into a hospital. It could be being able to follow up with people to make sure we don't lose those important dates, like the death of a spouse, and this is the first time they're going through those areas. Now we're going to record those in an area that not a lot of people actually use in PowerChurch, and that is the Ministry Services module. Now this area here is often used to record like funeral services or baptisms. Some denominations require that you tell the number of baptisms, number of funerals, the number of weddings that you perform, so these get recorded here. And there is reports in here to kind of like summarize to say, hey, these are the number of weddings that we did this year and so on. But we can also use this to help us with caring information here. So what we're going to do is we're going ahead and record one here. I'm going to actually record one here to Mary Wells. I'm going to bring up Mary Wells in my system. So here's Mary Wells. And I'm going to add a service to her. And I'm going to leave that blank, and I'm going to switch this to Caring Active. This is a service type that I've just created. And we can put in here that she is in the hospital because of a stroke. And so you don't have to watch me type. I'm actually going to just copy this from something I've already prepared and bring it over here. So now I can put some notes in here that, hey, Mary's in the hospital because of a stroke, and some notes about our visit that was there. Now, some things you want to do in here, well, let's take a look at some reports first. But before I do that, I want to go kind of show what we've done inside of this test data here. Under activities and skills, I've created a special activity that is our care team. So I'm going to bring this up. I've got a caring team here, and I have put people in this activity that are responsible for the care. So these are the people that are visiting people in hospitals, that are sending notes and cards for your care team. So now let's take a look at reports. So under Ministry Services here, I have a selected detailed data report. This is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to tell it I would just want to see our Caring Active. And say, okay, so when this comes, actually I have a couple here. Here's the one that we just added for Mary Wells. I also have another active caring going on here. So I have notes for both of these people here. Now I can quickly and easily send this report out to my caring team just by clicking the little email button up here. And I'm going to say, send this to an activity. And so I come down here and I'm going to select my caring team. I'm going to send this report to my caring team. And I can select particular members, but I'm going to send this to everybody in the caring. And I'm going to this is the email that's being created. So this is the subject for the email. And I've got some pre-done text here for the email body that's going to be here. This is just a, hey, thank you. This will be the body. What's going to do, it's going to create a PDF of this report and attach it to that and send that individually to everybody that's on the caring team. Now, just FYI, you can do this with any report in PowerChurch. So some people use this to send out the finance reports to their finance team and so on. So if you're set up to send email in PowerChurch, you can easily email out reports to people that are in an activity. And you see here that this is an attachment. If I click finish, I'm not going to do that because this is not real information. It'll create an email, send it to all the people on that caring team, and attach that file to them. Now, Now inside of Empower has similar type features. Let me switch over to Empower. Find my window. There it is. So PowerChurch gives you things. Empower is our cloud-based system that works similar, has a lot of the same features, but we have a few simpler tools, especially here around caring, that we're going to show you about. Just so you can see, similar to as in PowerChurch, I've created an activity, and this is our caring. This is our caring team down here, and I have members who are associated in this caring team as well. Inside of membership, I'm going to kind of go back to people, and I'm going to pull up somebody here. Emma Skinner has recently gone in the hospital, or actually had a diagnosis. So we have a particular tab that is separate for carings here. So I'm just going to add carings. We can put a from date and a to date in here, and I'm going to say there's a cancer diagnosis. And I can select a caring type. In this case, it's going to be health. I can put a facility and a room number in here for this. One thing Empower lets you do is it lets you record visits to this. So actually down here for this particular caring, I can say add a visit. I can put the date and the person who went to visit, and how they visited, whether it was an email, they sent an email, they sent a postcard, or a card, went and visited in person, or sent a phone call. I'm going to, he met in person, and I'm going to copy over some notes as well to have as a result of that visit. Now each caring is what we call it, can have multiple visits into there. In addition to the carings like we did in PowerChurch, Empower has an area called important dates. Now, important dates are those things or milestones that we want to celebrate or kind of touch base with people during their lives. Now, these are things like death of a spouse or death of a family member. We're talking about going into the holidays here. These are difficult times. I know with my own mother, this is, the death of her mother's birthday is a time that she gets a little sentimental, and as a time to kind of walk through them. There are other reasons that can be happy reasons, like we want to celebrate with somebody with on their retirement date. Maybe it's an adoption of a child that we want to come back in years later and celebrate those kind of things. Maybe it's a recovery milestone of it being cancer-free or addiction-free, or it might be significant church event participations, like, hey, 2 years ago you went on this mission trip to Honduras or wherever it was, that we want to come back and celebrate and remember those times. So we can also add things for important dates. So I'm going to add this to Aiden Roach. I'm going to add an important date. Actually, I've got one already set up here. I was just going to show you. So on October 30th, he had an adoption of a child, and we want to come back and celebrate that with him every year. So we can run a report, or I'm going to kind of show you how we can automate this and have things sent out automatically to our caring team. So under messaging and under automatic emails, I'm going to delete this and we're going to recreate it. Just to kind of show you this work, we can create blocks of information that go into this weekly caring email. So this email is automatically sent out every Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just going to add a block. I'm going to add this as an important date and just give it a title. And I'm going to come down here and tell it what dates I want to send. And I'm going to send important dates that happen in the next 14 days. Now I can preview, if this is sent right now, I can preview what that would be sent. So if I click here, view emails, so here we have information about Emma Skinner with her healthcare diagnosis that'll go out to the caring team, as well as a couple other people that have some caring information. And we also have the milestone dates that people can use. So this could be a death of a spouse, but it could be, any of those things that we put in as a milestone date in this. Now I've got this paused right here because this is not real data, but this will happen automatically, and it's something that just happens automatically without us having to remember to do it or go in and do it ourselves. So this is a good way to send that kind of information out to people, to get that information out from within the system to where people can use it and use that to further ministry. So our big takeaway in this is Power is built on the same foundations as PowerChurch, and we're making it easier to communicate with people, because the goal here is to provide you with the information and the support that you need to be able to take care of your congregation and your people, and using tools to further help us do ministry. I know that was a quick demo today. If there are put in that we got beforehand, and let me pull some of those up. Like I said, I know we got some that I wanted to make sure we had time to. Like one of the questions that was sent in beforehand is somebody wanted to say, how do I send a text blast to all members? Let me show you how to do that in PowerChurch. Let me switch back over to PowerChurch. Okay. Oh, I need to turn that on there, don't I? Okay. So inside of PowerChurch, so in PowerChurch, we work with a company called Simple Texting to send out the email blast. So I'm going to, the person is specifically asking to send this to all members. Members would be defined in personal profiles with a personal status code. So I'm going to go to personal profiles, and then there's a place here to send text message to a group. It says start texting for free. You would go through the sign up process here. Just to be forewarned, it's going to be, in order to get API access, which is programmatic access to be for us that we need to be able to send it to there. It's going to be a few day process. They have to vet you that you're an organization. They're trying to, somebody signing up and day one sends out, 50,000 text messages to a list that they shouldn't be. So there, you need to handle text messaging. So there is some validation that goes on there to make sure that you're a valid church. You're not just somebody who's spamming a bunch of people and then disappearing into the night. What's going to happen is after you have it set up, it's going to bring up what we call the selection screen. I'm just going to do this as if we were sending a mail merge file, because it's really the same selections. It's going to bring up what groups you want to send to, basically define the group. There again, you would define your group. We want to send this to members. You would say okay. You would click next, or you would say okay here. It's going to present a dialog up, and let me just pull this resource that I have up here, so I tell you. So at this point, what it's going to do, everything runs a little bit slower when I got the actual meeting going on. It's going to give you a few questions about what phone number that you want things sent to. Actually, I can kind of show you that part too. So I click next. It's going to say, hey, what phone number you want things to go to. So you can say send to the mobile phone. If you have a secondary number, like if there's no mobile phone, like you want it to go to there, you can add others. What it's going to do at that point is it will then send everybody over. It'll send the list that's creating and create a new list over in simple texting. And let me show you what that looks like. And so this is what simple texting will look like. So over here in contacts, you'll have multiple lists. So it'll create a new list over here, and it's dated with the day's date. And then you would come to campaigns on this side here, and you say, okay, I'm going to send this message. You would then say new. Give it a name. You would type out your message, and you would select your list that PowerChurch just created from this, and then that will send out all those SMS messages to that list that PowerChurch just created over here in simple texting. Look at simple texting. They have a variety of, you buy credits there to send those out. We've got a number of churches using it. So the process is in PowerChurch, you're going to say, send a new text message. It's going to send the actual names and addresses over here to simple texting. You log into simple texting, select your list, or create a new campaign, select the list that you want that to go to, and it will send out those messages. And you can do things in here like schedule it when you want to go out. You can set an exclude list, and so on. That's all part of that. Okay. One of the other questions that came in before things here was, can PowerChurch sync with other members that is using the software? One person can enter data and the others can see this data without having to download each time. That's a good use case for what's PowerChurch Online. So it sounds like you're using the desktop while on your own local computers. If you're trying to share the data with multiple people, that's a good use case for PowerChurch Online. So PowerChurch Online is an online version of PowerChurch that you're currently using. Is just hosted on our servers. You download a small program that then connects you to our servers, and everybody downloads that same program, and everybody can see the live updates as soon as they're made. There's no more making a backup and sending it to each person. It's all done. It's all done live there. It is a subscription service, so there is a monthly fee for that, but that sure beats having to email or send around backups all over the place. So I would invite you to go check out PowerChurch Online for that. If it is just membership information that you're using, you might want to consider Empower. Empower is a web-based system, so all anybody needs for that is all anybody needs for that is a web browser. They don't have to download the program there. Jennifer, I'll come back and answer your questions here in just a moment. Another question that came in before, using PowerChurch for contributions and accounting, but the former office staff never really used it for membership and contributions. I can see the potential. Can you explain how email works, and can you use for sending newsletters, etc.? Should you have email on the family profile as well as the personal profile? Do you really just need on the family? If on both and you're sending bulk emails, how will that work? If you can direct me to the area in your help menu to explain how this works, that would be great. Oh, I should have looked up where it was in the help menu. Okay, but just in general, email in general, you want to put on the personal profile. So the family mailing list is the family unit, right? Personal profile is information about each individual person. More often than not, email is a personal thing. However, you have my parents. My parents are in their 80s. They have one email address that they share. So in that case there, we really want information in one place. You can we have allowed to put an email address on the family unit, on the family mailing list is what we call in PowerChurch. If you're emailing a person or and there is no email address on the person, it will then look to the family and pull the family email address, but it will look to the person first. So you would really only do that if they have a bona fide shared email. We've seen a lot of people that put it both on the family and the person. We don't really want an email address one place. So if the email address belongs to a person, put it on the person. If it is a shared email and that's how they want it, that's how my parents use it, and they only have one email address, that's what they use, you can put it on the family or on the household level. And it will, if it doesn't find an email for that person, it then moves up to the family and it sees their family email address and it'll use that. So for instance, that would come back to that caring team that we just looked at. If my dad was on the caring team, when it went to, like, say, try to find an email address from him and there's no email address directly on his profile record, it would then move up to the family and pull the family address in. Is how it's designed to work. Empower works similar, but Empower, we have additional concept of what is a preferred email address for each person, and you would then go to my dad and you would say his preferred email address is the household email address, and it would know from that preferred email address of what email address to use for him. And the final question that came in beforehand is how do we set it up so volunteers can see where they need to serve? There's no direct features inside of Empower or PowerChurch for members to come in, so I don't know, but I don't know what you're exactly looking for there. But if you're on support, please call into our support department. We can talk about what your needs are, and maybe once we understand more what you're trying to do, we can work with you about those areas. Okay, how are we doing, Justin? Okay.
We are doing great.
Okay. All right. So one question that came in is, what features from PowerChurch Online are not found in Empower? Okay, so Empower is a new product. PowerChurch has a 30+ year history of features built into it, and it does a lot of stuff. So we're prioritizing features that are put into Empower. So some of the features that are not in Empower that PowerChurch has is room scheduling. Is probably one of the bigger areas of being able to say, hey, this group is coming in and using this room or this resource really from this time to this time. That is one of the areas. That's probably one of the biggest areas. Empower does not have built-in accounting as of this. It does have an interface where you can continue to use PowerChurch Online accounting, and Empower's contribution module will post the contribution deposits, just like PowerChurch does, over to the fund accounting area inside PowerChurch Online. Trying to think off the top of my head, what are the other areas? We've moved some features around. So we just talked about the ministry services area in PowerChurch. We have kind of made that area just a more generic note, so that you can create just a note from there and you can kind of assign by security levels of who can see what types of reports. We have added some additional features in Empower. We talked about the caring things, so that is a new feature. We have made it easier to send email out through Empower than in PowerChurch. Oh, that was one of the questions I should cover a little bit more about. Sending email out of PowerChurch was one of the questions, so we'll talk about that. Empower has built-in newsletters, kind of like MailChimp or Constant Contact. You can build a heavily formatted HTML email and send that out to people. It is much easier to email a group of people. You can schedule things to go. You can schedule things to go in advance. Those are the main things. Some the record keeping modules that are in PowerChurch, the equipment library, the education library, the music library, those do not have an equivalent over in Empower. Those are not heavily used in PowerChurch. It's kind of rare that people are using those modules. There are specific things, like for instance, PowerChurch still prints Rolodex cards. Little known fact, it will actually print a Rolodex cards. Hardly anybody's using that these days, but the feature has not been removed from the program. So there are little things. There's some really fine minor things like that is there. Another question just came in the chat that says, can in our office, church office, use Empower and our accountant continue to use PowerChurch online and have it be fairly seamless? Yes. There, like I said, in Empower, you enter your contributions in Empower, and we've changed some of the wording to try to simplify things. In PowerChurch, you post contributions. In Empower, you make a deposit. And when you make the deposit, it'll create the accounting transaction for you and send it over to PowerChurch Online, the fund accounting module there, and dump it in the unposted fund accounting, just like PowerChurch, just like posting contributions PowerChurch does. So that's at that point, you would then continue to do all your accounting, fund accounting, accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll in PowerChurch Online. So nothing at that point changes. So your account would continue with what they're doing offsite using PowerChurch Online, and you keep track of all your membership and contribution information inside of Empower itself. Let me go back. Somebody was talking about sending email, and let me talk about that. Let me just go ahead and reshare PowerChurch. Okay. Sending email is becoming increasingly difficult to do, and that's just because the amount of things that are being done with spam from PowerChurch requires what's called an SMTP server. Basically, PowerChurch has to talk to an email server to be able to send the email. Now, we also have it set up that you can work with, if your email is hosted by Google Workspaces. Version 15 of PowerChurch will ship soon. Probably, I can't still give an exact date, but it should be by the end of the year. What's included in there, one of the new options that they're putting in there is being able to, if your email is hosted by Microsoft and Office 365, we're including so that we can work with the Office 365 to send your email out through there. If your email is hosted by somebody else, they can and then give you SMTP access. You can have your email sent from there. So file preferences, system setup options, under email here in PowerChurch, you would provide SMTP credentials. If you've ever set up Outlook or anything to use that, this will be familiar with you. We have some things down here to try to help with spam. Like I said, it's becoming increasingly difficult to send bulk mail on your own. But it can be done. And then inside of the program here, when you go to send email, we've kind of looked at this already a little bit. So if you want to send email to a group of people, like all your members, you go to personal profile and send email message to a group. You'll use the selection criteria here to select what group you want to go to. So like if we want to just send it to our members, we can say okay. And then at this point, so PowerChurch gives you the thing here to say, hey, 3 people don't have an email address. What do you want to do? Do you want to print mailing labels for them? We're just going to say no further processing, and you would compose your email message. There again, you have to be connected to an SMTP server. Can't be scheduled ahead of time. It'd have to be done in this active session while you're sending it out from here. But you can send email messages out to a group. January is a busy time in support. This is a common question that they have is helping people get set up with the SMTP server stuff so they can email out contribution statements to people. So I probably went a little, maybe hopefully not too much in depth here, but yeah, you can send email out of PowerChurch. Empower sends email a different way. We take care of the email sending for you. You basically tell us what email account you want to be listed as the from address. You have to get an email there and click on it to verify that you own that account. And then Empower will send the email kind of on behalf of you through our email servers, but that's included in the Empower. And you can schedule emails out to go in advance and so on. So hope I've answered that okay. Let me stop sharing that. I know we're kind of ahead.
Yeah, we can give it a couple seconds for any last minute questions, but other than that, we might wrap up a little bit early today. Okay. And seeing none, awesome. But yeah, as we wrap up, I just want to say thank you for taking your time. Now until Christmas, I know it's going to feel like a marathon for a lot of you. You're juggling, planning all the events. Oh yeah, Sunday happens 52 times a year too. So that's that
Some
little
years
thing.
53. That's
Yes,
important.
that's true. That's true. That's an extra gift we get, right? But yeah, no, it's so like every bit of your attention's important, and we're given all these resources, whether it's people, finances, anything that we want to help you steward those well. And it's kind of a cool season we get to live in, like technology, like we get to use technology to help people stay, like PowerChurch and Empower, to help people stay connected, to care for people, and just as a kingdom resource. And it's one thing that we shouldn't take for granted. And we're here for you the whole way to help you throughout the season if you need anything. That's why we're here. So just reach out to our support team, and if you signed up for this, you'll get a recording, because I'm sure there's terms like SMTP that might be a little confusing for some people that we can listen through. And if you have any questions, again, reach out to our team. But we'll send a recording out to everyone who signed up and visited. That'll be on YouTube, and you'll get an email too. But yeah, thank you again for joining us. Any last words, Jeff?
No, that's it. Like just this, the work people do in the office are important, right? And it's the unforeseen, it's the not seen stuff, but taking care of these things behind the scenes really makes a difference in making people felt as part of something, felt, remembered. This is a very difficult time of the year, like Justin was just saying, for some people to go through. Yeah. So anything we can use technology wise to help us help people better, that's what we're trying to help you do.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Have a great week, and Merry Christmas.
Oh, you had to do the Merry Christmas at the